I'm ready. How we doing?
Here we have
I'm doing great.
quarterback coach Sean Reagan. Questions for Coach Reagan?
So Sean, start with the obvious one. I mean, analyze the top two quarterbacks. What have you seen? What are you on?
Well,
14, 13 practices?
yeah, I
whatever?
think today was 13. What? Yeah, today was 13. So up until today, been some promise. Gotten better each and every day, both of them. Each one of them have improved on something that they wanted to improve on, executed a high level, and then today happened and we were not very good. All right, probably our worst day at quarterback today, but up until today I've been very, very pleased with where we are at that position between Garrett and Nico. They've come a long way. I think going into today, between the two of them, we were somewhere around 70% completion percentage. We're in the upper 80s, low 90s in decision making in our run reads and RPOs, so really, really good. That percentage will probably drop a little bit after today, but we'll rebound and be ready for Thursday and Saturday.
Decision making? Yeah, go ahead, John.
I was just saying, what were the issues with the decision making, execution?
It was a little bit of everything today. We were inaccurate with the ball. They probably want to blame it on the wind, so be it, but wind blows in the mountains too. Decision-wise, eyes were just not in the right place. We really focused on that all spring about our eyes being where they need to be, and they've done a really, really good job of that the last 2 weeks, and we just weren't ready to go today. That's the bottom line.
Maybe a wake-up call for them, you think?
I hope so. I hope so. They'll be ready on Thursday. I love that room. The way they bounce back, if they have an off day, they usually bounce back pretty strong, so I would expect them to come out lights out on Thursday.
You mentioned some of the things that you wanted those guys wanted to improve upon. With Nico, what were some of the things, and with Garrett, what were some of the things?
With Nico, it's footwork. We've really, really harped hard on footwork and eye placement where they need to be, whether it be an RPO, whether it be a run read, or even in the pass game. And he's night and day. Before today, he was night and day from day 1 to day 12. Today, we were just off. With Garrett, it's more of a pocket presence and understanding we can get to our second and third read before we get through it. He's done a very good job of that for the most part. Still trying to hone in on slowing eyes down, and he's gotten better at that every single day. He's really improved on his RPO reads as well from the last time I coached.
What's it like having, obviously, not getting a transfer for this year? What's it like having all high school recruits in the room, for the first time?
Yeah, I guess that is the first time being here, and I hadn't really put a whole lot of thought into it. But the bottom line, we don't go after transfer because we believe one of those two guys, if not both of those guys, can help us win football games. Very pleased with where they're at. Love coaching them. They respond very well. They're easily coachable. They don't take anything personal, and we'll be just fine in that room.
So the fact that they both got experience last year, obviously Garrett a whole lot more, but even with Nico, just getting a few reps, how much does that help him?
I think, Garrett definitely got more because he was the number 2, but even with the last game, just Nico having, almost 3 quarters, right at 3 quarters of experience in that game, it goes a long way. Like, you can't take for granted the reps that you get in live action, and especially in Big 12 play. I think that goes a long way. I think he's more comfortable. He's learning the terminology of the offense. I think he's more comfortable with that each and every day. He really enjoys what we're doing offensively, which goes a long way. So I'm very pleased where he's at.
How different is it to coach RPO quarterbacks as compared to drop back or, just that aren't doing it? And how difficult is it? How different is it for them?
Well, from coaching them, I would say if you got a true pocket guy, everything has to be truly on time, 1, 2, 3, ball out, ball out. Well, you're a little, I guess, more lenient with athletic guys like Garrett and Nico, to where I'm more like, look, if you got green grass, take off, use your legs. And we've done a better job of that so far this spring, getting yards with our feet, even when we call pass plays. But I think that's probably the biggest difference. You're a little bit more lenient and more coaching them to take off than you would with somebody who can't run or a true pocket passer.
Those guys, it may not just be a first down, it could be a touchdown.
Exactly. Exactly. So
Sometimes running it might be better than throwing it.
yeah, that's right. That's right. And, and it goes with the run game too. In the past, I guess our first 3 years, you could say, is we were running the football, we were handing the football off. There wasn't many run reads to it, but we've added a few run reads to our run game this year, just because we've got two athletic quarterbacks that can handle it.
What is it in particular that you've noticed from Garrett, especially through the years? Because been here obviously several springs now. This will be the first one he's really, truly a chance to start. But on and off the field, just his progression, what have you noticed from him?
Yeah, Garrett's got all the energy in the world. Okay, so y'all know him pretty well, I'm sure, but he's got all the energy in the world, and what that's done is with age he's matured and taken that energy and turned it into leadership, and that's gone a long way for Garrett.
What about yourself in terms of coming back and coaching quarterbacks? How's that been?
It's been great. I guess you could say a new fire. I'm excited every day to go in that room and coach those guys. I love that position. Grew up playing it, coached it. Well, I've been coaching, I think, 24 years. Coached quarterbacks, probably around 20 to 21 of them at the high school and college level. So that's where I'm comfortable. That's where I feel my best at, and glad to be back in that room.
So take a look at the younger quarterbacks. You talked about the first two, from Sean Boyle all the way through. You got a bunch of other guys as well.
We do. Sean's the only other one on scholarship, and he's come a long way. I mess with him all the time. I'm like, look, man, you should be getting ready for prom, and you're out here playing Big 12 spring football. So, because he gets frustrated from time, and you have to warn those young guys that, look, in the winter, you're in the classroom, you're learning the playbook. You can answer the questions on the board. You feel good about yourself. You go out to practice, and it's 1,000 miles an hour. So he kind of hit rock bottom probably the first week and a half, and then we started picking his reps up, and he's getting better. He executed, I think he had 15 snaps in the scrimmage on Saturday and got 12 pluses, so he had a pretty good day on that and executed pretty well out there today with the reps that he had, so he's come a long way too. He's got a long way to go, but he's come a long way.
You said the other day that he probably runs better than they anticipated when you recruited him.
Yeah, I think sometime last week, can't remember what day, but I think he hit 20.5 miles an hour. So he's got some speed to him.
Taking away this practice, up to this point, what have the quarterbacks done the best or improved the most from where they were last year?
I think, well, it's hard for me to say really from where they were last year because I wasn't in that room, and honestly, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to them. But I'll say this, from what we've harped on from winter to now is their eye discipline. It's come a long, long way. They're starting to see what they're supposed to see. So I have a saying with them that's see a little, see a lot. And what I mean by that is don't worry about the big picture as much as what you need to be worrying about on that play, whether it's eyes on a safety, he gives you the answer. Okay, everything else will take care of itself. Just do your job. There's 10 other bodies out there with you. Count on them to do theirs. You do yours, and the offense will run itself.
Any carryover from what Graham was teaching them to what you're teaching them?
There's probably some, especially in the pass game, footwork-wise. I don't think we change anything with their footwork and their drops. We're just like the pass game has been the same since – I've been with Neil since 2008. We may have changed terminology of what we call a pass, but even with Graham, it was still the same as what we were doing before. The only difference is in the run game, we're probably a little bit more, I guess, dynamic or diverse in what we're doing this year, being that we have two athletic quarterbacks, so that's probably a little bit different. They've got more run reads for them. We're doing more RPOs this spring, trying to practice those. I don't think we called many RPOs last year, but other than that, there's not a whole lot of difference from what we're teaching.
So you haven't had that mobile quarterback here in the past. Any other point, Troy or any other stops that you've had guys like that?
We've had some athletic quarterbacks at Troy, so we got some experience with that, and it went really well down there, so hopefully that'll carry over.
Same type of plays, or is the whole RPO game changed things so much?
No, we were doing them there too. It's not that we're going to live and die by the RPO, but that just gives us an answer for what defenses are doing. I just think you got to be diverse because defenses are throwing a lot at you too. Now, on the flip side of us offensive coaches, we're throwing a lot at the defense too. So you just got to have answers, and if you know what those answers are, you'll be fine.
Everyone talks about coaching technique into quarterbacks, but good quality, how much of that do you have to teach, or is it more on Neil to make
I don't know if
a
I'm,
leader?
I mean, I guess it comes with it in situational football, but that's more from a team guidance standpoint. Coach Brown does a really good job in the off season of having a leadership program, kind of like a leadership class that all the guys go through. We have a captain's thing that Coach Brown runs that meets. I think there's 12 or 14 of them that he meets with, once a week or once every other week. So building leadership through that. But, with quarterback, at this level, you either got it or you don't when it comes to leadership. So usually by the time they're here, they have a piece of that, and then we just try to pull it out of them a little bit more.
Have you noticed those traits from Nico? You mentioned Garrett becoming a leader.
Mm-hmm.
Nico obviously younger.
Yeah, but he's got them. He's got the traits, and he's coming out of his shell too, and he's doing a really good job too. He's getting more and more comfortable around the team, and you can see that.
Heard this a lot last year and maybe occasionally this year, the term rogue, Garrett going rogue. What's your thoughts on that? Because there is some good when he does that occasionally.
There is. It's a tricky and it's a fine line dealing with that. Like, you don't mind the rogueness as long as it's not going to be a decision that gets you beat. And I don't really consider it. I try to stay away from that term rogue. I try to turn it into make a play. Like, if you get off your mark or if you get off with your eye placement, then be a player and go make a play. But in that, the second piece to that is we got to continue to get better to not force something to happen. Like, I don't know if y'all were out there today, but he scrambles, could have taken off running. It'd have been like 3rd and 3. He forces a throw down the field and ends up being an interception in the end zone. That's what we have to continue to work on. That, sometimes it's not bad to punt. All right? Like, it's not always bad to punt. So understand that, especially in situational football. Like, if you're in the red zone, like, no need to force something if it's truly not there, because you can probably get a field goal out of it. Take the points and move on. But because not every play call is going to be perfect. I mean, it's not. We don't know what the defense is calling. So we try to have answers built in with whatever we call, but it's up to the quarterback to make it work. And if it's truly just not there, don't force the issue.
When you think of the word rogue, it almost implies like an end result. Like, this is what it has to be. And, how often is football like that?
Exactly, and that's the great thing about having athletic quarterbacks is, if you sit there and call a pocket pass, well, with Garrett or Nico, that could turn into a 35, 40-yard scramble run. Decision-wise, maybe somebody was open, but if you turn it into a big explosive play, you're going to get a plus in my book.
What do you get out of Saturday? With fans in the stands, quarterbacks change a little bit than what they're – or players in general?
Hopefully they won't.
Mm-hmm.
We've been in the stadium, I think, 3 times now, if I'm right. So, it shouldn't be really any different. They'll be excited. It's a spring game. Anytime you put a game behind something, your emotions are going to be a little bit higher. They need to control that and continue to do what they've done really well this spring is, control your eyes, make the right decisions, and allow the other 10 people to help you be successful on offense and not try to do too much.
You get, through the summer and into the fall, what do you think is going to be the thing that makes the difference for one of them to win the starting job?
I mean, if they keep battling the way they're battling right now, it's going to be a tough decision. Both those guys are executing at a high level. It's going to come down to who is more detailed most of the time. And that's in footwork, that's in eye discipline, that's in decision making. That's if and when we put our checks in, are we checking to the right thing? But I would say, to sum it up, one word, it'd be details.
Okay, anything else for Coach?
Just, I guess, the experience of working a little bit more, a little bit different with Chad Scott. Obviously, you've been with the program, but now promoted offense coordinator, so impacts you more now?
Coach Scott and I, how long have we been together? So we were at Troy together. We've been at Texas Tech together. We've been here together. So I've known Chad a long, long time, probably since 2008, on and off worked with him. So it's really not a change for me. I'm happy for Coach Scott. He deserves every bit of it. The guy is an unbelievable recruiter. He's an unbelievable motivator. those players on our offensive side of the ball, like they'll run through a brick wall for him. And he's awesome to be around. He's doing a great job. But as far as affecting me, I don't think so. I just come to work, do my job, and try to help him the best I can with the pass game, marrying it up with the run game when we script, and do it each time we come in the building.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.